Look at them bars. Aw, dude. You guys like that, dude? You like planet Earth, dude? Is that what's up, dude? Yeah. Okay, now that we've got that all sorted out, or do we? Whoa. Oh, we're just gonna apply that same technique that we apply to other countries to states. States like Rhode Island. Yeah, I tried not to do any crossover with the surveys here. Well, let's just take a cursory look at some of the predominantly churches, is what this batch is. And you'll forgive my rather decimated vocal cords. I was straining them, apparently. And what can we see? Hot off the heels of, say, Lithuania, you know? It's like, shouldn't be too many similarities. But it's not a place-by-place comparison, really. Because this stuff is everywhere. Look they're building the right-hand side. And nah, man. Just kidding. They're doing renovations, just like we see in the old world pictures. Not construction, guys. Renovation. Just us looking at, dude. You got a problem, homie? You better step off, bro. This is Cathedral Street crib, homie. St. Matthew's way. Wow. Rather marvelous and rather unnecessary, you know, in today's or any days. There's something we don't know. Is there something we don't know about these buildings, guys? Why you gotta get these spikes on here, dude? Is there something that we don't know? I address that to the authorities. This is a Episcopal Cathedral of St. John in Providence, Rhode Island. Rather gorgeous. This is the first Church of Christ Scientist in Providence. And it looks very, very out of place. Just very out of place. And Federal Hill Church in Providence, I believe. Regardless of what you think about who built them and why, you have to admit this is very out of place. I mean, this is akin to just showing up randomly, job, wearing a cloak and a wizard hat. And just fitting in. Imagine dressing like a French cavalry officer with a plumed hat and pantaloons and just strolling into your local market and, you know, feeling the peaches as you shop for produce. Can you just imagine? That's how out of place it looks to me. And I don't know what happened here in this stone bridge in Colt State Park, but these look rather uniform, don't they? In fact, they look like gravestones, if not pieces of a wall. Maybe they are future gravestones. And maybe that's where gravestones always came from. Something odd about the cemeteries, you know? We'll get into that if I have the mental capacity. The building. I'm not gonna read it to you. You can read it yourself. You do the heavy lifting. Turn your head sideways. Read it. Yay! Why would you build this like this? And what is this very old wall here? What an interesting place. This is in a museum. It's a wireless and steam museum that's in East Greenwich. But this was actually made in Rochester, New York. This is an automatic packaged engine. Just giving you the backstory of it. How it snuck in here, you know? As I'm just sort of collecting interesting things in Rhode Island. This isn't the Aldridge Mansion. By golly, just look at that monster. Would look appropriate for a Habsburg-owned manor out in the countryside. Just a royal estate. That's what it looks like. This is the Allendale Mill, or what's left of it. I mean, I guess they preserved the brick shell. This is Allenville Mill Storehouse. Now, at least a little look at Main Street back in the day. This is a junior high school. It seems unnecessary. Unless this postcard is just looking weathered beyond its years, you know. Here's a post office in the same town. Also extremely unnecessary. And weird to build it this way, you know. Try it again. And it's just weird to build it this way. Thanks. This is the Arkwright Dam and the Arkwright Bridge. Arkwright reminds me of that Arkwright, you know? You ever heard of that? Like, you better get you some of that Arkwright juice. Here's the YMCA. We looked at this one once before. This guy's like, why are you taking pictures of me, bro? Can't see the forest for the trees sometimes, you know? Isn't that what they say? And look at these very classical elements of architecture and the suspicious windows that are almost like just those old things. Yeah, we don't care about those. These, though, these are all nice and dressed up, like painted, the brick. Oh, but those, like, nah, who cares about those? Those are just to be ignored. The real building starts here. Am I doing it right? You know, am I doing it right? Two different eras of time is what it looks to me like. And these are massive brick buildings that would take literally millions and millions of bricks. This is the Arnold Palmer House, by the way. Guess I forgot to mention that. Oh, that's right. The Automobile Museum. Just look at the statuary on the top. What a gorgeous building. My God. I love it. It's so excessive. And these have a distinctly New England feel to them. I'll give them that. There is something about the sort of tall, thin, on the thinner side as far as buildings go. Tall, thin, sort of sneering New England sort of vibe, you know, that can be endearing. It can be off-putting. Some might find it even offensive. I'm in the first category. This is the Barrington Civic Center in the summer, looking like a right old hobbit house. That is so cool. I noticed what looks to be weathered bronze housing here that we see so often across the world. Same town hall. This is a school administration. Look at those rock walls. How cool is that? You see those, man, you know, that makes this one hard to date because that just could be from any time. Even modern time, it could be. It's unless this is all a facade and really behind it is just like brick sunk into some thick mortar, but I have no reason to believe that. So for now, although I don't think it's entirely composed of backed rocks, like a lot of this is kind of for show. But either way, looks cool, dude. Looks real cool. There's a close-up of that. There's a boat up there. Sorry, a ship up there. Interesting. That one right there's a pterodactyl egg. I'm going on break. I guess we're leaving now. Goodbye. Back at the museum. Great time to bend over, Jerry. Didn't even notice till we left the museum. Can't use these. This is Bell Court, the east facade. And I do believe we looked at that before, all right? Cemetery and church and little bell. I thought the little bell was interesting here. Mainly because of the color. I don't know if it's painted that way or if it's weathered. I don't know. I really don't know. But I believe that if it was painted this way, it's because it used to actually be this way. So maybe it was at one point weathered bronze, or maybe it was always painted. And actually, you know, there's a coating, like a paint that you can acquire relatively inexpensively, I guess. Well, for paint, it's kind of expensive, but it's essentially a thin layer of metal. I guess sort of powderized copper or other metals, and you can paint it on, and it dries sort of like with the thin, like, patina of like gold leaf. I just mean that thin. But cool thing about the copper one is if it's proper, well, I don't need to rhyme. If it's actual authentic copper, it also, if you get it wet or, you know, it succumbs to the weathering. So it gets that aged look naturally. And so I wonder, even if the bell is cast iron, I guess is my long way of saying this, it's not too off to just wildly guess that maybe they had sometimes a copper paint or a bronze paint or whatever they were trying to use to get this oxidation. Just musing about the world we live in, you know. This looks like a very modernized estate. It actually looks a lot like a lot of the things that you would find in Lithuania, really. The red roof that looks like asphalt. It does imitate sort of the red tile look. And yeah, stripped of all ornamentation down to the bare rock, but it looks great. It really does. Other angles. Now, of course, this has been abandoned over the years, and now I think it's going to be bulldozed. But I think we talked about that, actually, when we did the old Rhode Island survey, I believe. This is the Benjamin Greenhouse in Central Falls, a color look at it. And wow, what a immaculately kept, beautiful property. It really is. And the same kind of mill. It's exactly a Berkeley mill. It's now probably apartments, looks like. But yeah, just another giant brick mill, just like you find everywhere there was anyone ever. There's another one. Bourne Mill, we're told. Hey, sir, that smokestack looks rather empty. Would you like to convert that to a cell phone tower for a heaping sum of government money to show up in your account time over time? Who says no? There's a school district down here. I won't say which one. That actually allowed or rents the space to a cell phone tower, and that money has been automatically depositing into an account that is untouched, and it has millions in it. Millions for, I don't know, 10 years or so of letting a cell phone tower exist on the school property. Does make you wonder why they would pay so much. Obviously, it's not like the school needs it. I don't think they know exactly who has, I think there's some confusion from my understanding, at least there was some confusion on who could access that money and for what it was allocated. So it's almost one of those things where everyone's scared to touch it, but probably is all eyeballing it hungrily, hoping everyone else forgets about it. But I know about it, and I just told all these people. So neener, freaking neener, you corrupt crooks. Bristol Customs House and post office, looking very, very well kept. Some of these are rather beautiful. The Bristol Ferry Lighthouse from the other angle. What a gorgeous building. God, I would love to live there and run that. Show up to work wearing that red coat uniform, dude. That's what it's like being a cathedral like that in 2024. This is the Colts State Park entrance. The Bulls, eh? Bulls and the Lions. This is the Colts State Park main building, in case you were curious. I took this as I was jogging by. Nah, I'm just kidding. I never been to Rhode Island, man. I'd love to visit, but I didn't take these random properties. This whole thing back here looks to me like it's been sort of deconstructed and rebuilt, and they just kind of used some of the original frames here. Like these, I don't even know, are these even windows right now? They almost look like just panels that look like this from the outside. This one looks legit, but yeah, this whole thing looks like it's been rebuilt. Now, I'm just speculating. I have no way of knowing that. I mean, I guess I could do a deep dive on it, but I'm just popping off here. Look at this whole thing. This looks like Lemony Snicket's house. This is the Carey Mansion, and wow. What a haunted looking building. I mean, even the color of it looks like it's in black and white. The rest of the world is normal color. Get this little interesting red and white stripe we speculated upon before. This is the rectory, Cathedral of Saints Peter and Paul, complete with basement windows. Cathedral of St. John Cemetery. Odd place to bury bodies, considering this tree here has got to be like 2,000 years old. Look at this thing. These are probably only a few hundred years old. And not sure why you would dig through roots. I don't know. Maybe the tree came later, but based on the root exposure here and the hill, it doesn't seem like it. Seems like these walls, seems like these walls were built before this tree, because look at that. Whatever I'm looking at here, it looks like the tree, it could go either way. It could be that this wall's built up to the tree, or it could be they had to rebuild it because the tree was swelling and the house didn't used to be so far away. I don't know. I guess it's hard to tell from this picture, but what a beautiful place. That tree looks just amazing. I guess a little different look. These random cemeteries, very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. The drawing of the Central Baptist Church, and interesting way to build that building or set that grade. That's not really giving you much to go on. Look at this thing. Central Malls. Everywhere in America has this Central Falls Mills District or a Mills Mall and right here, look at this. Remnants of what was probably a highly ornamented, beautiful building here. And here, I don't even know what to make of that. Just gutted out and hollowed, and it's like, what's it even there for anymore? The look, I guess. These bricked up windows on all sides. Probably an elevator now or something. Square doorways cut over these arches. Wow. Is it ever more obvious that this actually was just a window than this image right here? What the hell is that? So you're having these brick top arches for your opening. If this was going to be a door, wouldn't you have made this bigger? Why is it the size of a window? This is a really good example of evidence to the idea, at least visually, of these just being windows repurposed and weren't originally supposed to be doors. And that's why every building has material leading up to it that doesn't match. For our aesthetic sake, anytime you have like a brick, I'm thinking you should have a brick walkway, at least in part, at least the steps or the banister. To have a different material, it just looks awkward. Just like this big ghouly looking thing right here that's hiding in the tree. Don't think I don't see you, bro. What? I said I see you? Dude. Who are you? Don't worry about it. Look at this one here. This whole chapel building's getting bum rushed by them trees in their war against us. We might have a casualty here. Man, I didn't think these trees had it in them. Little modest little chapel of the Irish saint. Oh, modest on what? This is the symbolism. Looks like a serpent around a staff. Ooh, I'm sure there's some explanation, but I don't like what I'm seeing, homie. It's way too reminiscent of like too many other things, bro. I'm just saying. Chateau sur Mer in Newport, Rhode Island. Wow, looking like it's like a little bit brutal with the colors. Turn, like just a concrete behemoth. But very nice. Very, very nice. Now it's got an upgrade. Okay. That was the old. Look, it's like it heard my criticism or something. Or maybe this one's newer. Okay, so she wears different outfits whenever she wants. We're back to that Christian Science Church. Jumping a lot of order here. This time the dome is green. That looks freshly painted though. Doesn't look like no oxidated iron. Here's the interesting windshield down here staring at us, which looks a bit swallowed up in something bigger and later. Just saying what it looks like. Now, to be fair, this is a monastery that looks like a completely modern design. I mean, outside of the sort of octagonal or maybe decahedral, tetrahedral, I don't know, whatever this shape is, it seems to be modern. So, score one. Okay, score one for the modern side. You weren't allowed any closer to take a picture, apparently, of Clarendon Court here. What a gorgeous little place Rhode Island is, and looking out, relatively untouched by some metrics. If someone that's in construction can please tell me what the benefit of building like this is, I would really, really be curious why you would just stop the basement here, because it's not like there's a room under here. I'd bet my backside, bet your backside. We looked at these before. The Colonel Michael Whitmarsh house, like an old school tavern. Interesting with the grading again. Maybe I just don't understand what it's like. Very imposing. But yeah, we saw these. And they're very suspicious and strange cemeteries where people are buried on top of each other with headstones that get more and more boring and mundane and tiny over the years. Look at this tiny little window up here. What is going on here in these thread mills? Spring for the deluxe, would ya? Golly. And these guys look like they have little hats on. Like they're shifty little fellows with kind of guys that say Kappa. Hey. Well, I ain't no popo, bro. So scram, would yas? Connecticut Lighthouse? Yeah, looking very lonely, that one. What are we to make of this? Why are the arrows? This. There's a run-by photography of the Coventry, Rhode Island, Anthony Mills, looking like they're being uprooted. More from that village, Coventry, that is. An interesting building there. And all these things, and all these places, and everywhere you go. Look, 1698. Cranston Street Armory. Yeah, that's you at work, wearing a wizard hat. Velvet Mills. The Nashon Company. This is a funny building, long out of favor. Beavertail Lighthouse. This is on Dexter Street in Providence. What a seemingly untouched little part of the very British-looking world. Explain this to me. Explain this to me, bro. Lighthouses, downtown buildings, fire stations, all looking just moved into. Somebody new here set up shop. A church? No, it's a bank. Used to be a mill. Of course it did. What's going on down there? And why? Kentish guards, eh? Come on in, bro. Look at the grade. It's unbelievable. Everywhere you go, no matter where you go, hundreds and hundreds of miles, thousands of miles, and it looks the same as the Elks Lodge. I could picture that in Mexico, picture that in Lithuania, picture it in Pakistan. We have pretty much shown pictures of it at all these places. Just very, very interesting. This is the federal building in U.S. Courthouse in Providence. Ooh, how imposing. This is that First Church Christ of Scientists goofball religion, looking a little depleted. Oh my god, you guys caught me watching CNN. That's hilarious to think that CNN is like the new shameful act on the internet you don't want to get caught doing. The ones that are made for a 12-year-old. All right. Forgive me. We was looking at pictures before all that, and we'll look at them again. Look at this little cistern here, or as it's known around them parts as Fort Adams. I believe we met before. This is the Founders Hall, complete with little dome and little rod. Same thing we see everywhere. The same style as we see all over America. The brave. Yeah. Something I've noticed about these meetings houses, these friends meeting houses, there's often a cemetery nearby, which makes me wonder, like what goes on at these meeting houses that requires a nearby cemetery. Can't help but wonder. But anyway, sorry. I needed to know where the volume was at. Here we are back at the museum, see? There's no rhyme and no reason, folks. Look at this bad boy. This is a Lutheran church with some relics from the past clinging on. Rather extraordinary, isn't it? Why so universal, these very shapes? Like, why? Why? Is this gender-neutral bathroom? Or is it the eyes of a loving creature who one day turns against you? He's a traitor. Dude, are you okay? Like, did you have a lot to drink? Or is this picture just, like, totally out of focus? Or is it a painting? Whatever it is, it's on Goat Island. Facts, bro. Or so we're told. That's the Grace Harbor Church. Ooh, get cozy, all you dead people. Rather convenient. What, you guys just didn't want to walk far, or what? Like, they died. Let's bury them as close to the front door as possible, and we'll work our way outward. Greystone Mills, now Greystone Lofts. Conversions. That's how we roll. Conversions. This is that old First Congregational Church, I remember. This from the survey. Hog Island. And that there is a picture from 2007. Yeah, so you don't know. I don't know either. This is a Hope Mill, or that's the name of the town, maybe. I'm not sure. But the canal still stands. Look at that chimney. There was that herringbone pattern up the chimney. That seems very unnecessarily complicated. This is a modern restoration of the Portsmouth Abbey, done by Howard Newman, we're told. And I can't help but get this vague sort of like eagle feeling. And then why does the top look look like a three-dimensional pyramid hologram. What is this? This is a church? This thing looks like a spider web. I don't understand. This looks more like something that would ensorcel someone than anything. Like, if I walked in and saw that, I would think, like, something's trying to, like, convey something into my brain very, very forcefully. Or maybe that's just me, you know? Maybe I'm just in one of them moods. Look at that cute little engine. We're told it's a stationary steam engine. Well, it's part of the stationary steam engine collection in this museum that we keep jumping back to. It's a strange segue, yes. The old Indian rock. Perfectly named. Curious if this brick foundation here is original, or did they add it afterwards? Isaac Bell House. Golly, that one really, once your eyes adjust, you realize what a monster it is. How gorgeous. And these pictures are always weird to me. So what are we looking at? Well, you could see the first church of Christian Scientists, which even that's, I thought it was Christian Science. Get your religion straight, or at least tell us what to put on the placard properly. So this is a photograph. I know it's made to look like a postcard, like a drawing, but really at its heart, if you look at it, it's actually a photograph. And they've embellished it or framed it in like painted item. In other words, these trees and things look painted, but that building is not painted. And they go over it with like a pencil. See here, like a pen? You see the outlines here? It's almost like it's cut out, like it's clip art, you know? And then they retrace it after they paste it over a new background. Now the question is, and maybe this is all done just for artistic effect or whatever. Okay, that's totally acceptable. But the thing is if you have the ability to make a photograph, and that's what this is clearly cut out of, a photograph, then why are we not just running with just the photograph? Unless it's like a black and white photograph that they're like painting on, sort of, adding color, which I guess that is possible because they didn't stain the lines at all over here. Like, look at this blue. Like, what do you guys use, crayon? So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a black and white photograph that they've sort of filled in with color for whatever artistic reason. I don't know. It just seems weird. On a postcard, it's fine, but why not just take the official picture? Like, this is the kind of stuff that you see, listed on the Registry of Historic Places. It's photographs like these as if this were evidence. And I'm just saying that's strange evidence, because if you have a picture of it, why are you using the artist rendition of it? Just use the picture if it's for historical sense, you know? That's what I'm saying. That's my long-winded axe to grind. It's because they don't want you to whatever. Same story here. I mean, just look at that. It looks to me like this building is a photograph, printed and like cut out, and they've got colored in the dome with like a highlighter. I mean, I don't know. And then just sort of, maybe the whole thing's even a photograph on this one. Yeah, this looks like the whole thing's a photograph. Maybe paint a few power lines, make it look all crazy. But it just seems weird. Just show us the picture. This is the, I remember this from the survey, but this is a nice colored picture. Look at this guy. He's shy. He's hiding under his little witch's hat here. This is the casino, the Newport casino venue where they do stuff, sports stuff. The James Dennis house, looking splendid. My God, what a great American scene right there. And a rather imposing elementary school, or at least it looks very modernized. But you can still tell the traces of that old world stuff are still in there. We see you try to neuter it. You know, no doubt there were statuaries and all sorts of cool stuff at one point. And sometimes in various surveys and things, we do take deep dives into these buildings, and we do try to figure that out. But today's a different sort of day. Can there just be one old building ever that doesn't have that thing? Just give us a control group, you know what I'm saying? For which to compare. We need to do building science on why it's like this. Like, how can you justify making one window that small? And it just don't make no sense. It's like, how have we been so blind for so long as a people? How? It's baffling. Every year, in personal life and in, I guess, it's all personal, I guess, idealistically, or whatever, through just experience and absorbing research and reading and plundering through, sifting through opinions and forming your own ideas, somewhere in that big jamboree of thought jumbo, settles on some version of events that you feel comfortable, at least a framework that you feel comfortable believing in. And that can change over time, of course. And the more you learn, you basically learn how blind you've been to things that are so obvious. And we as a people, it's like an enchantment. It's like a spell been slowly wearing off. And now we are finally seeing the fruits of a real sort of awakening that seems to be happening in all over the world at the same time, in its own flavor, its own way. And I'm not saying that it's The scales have tipped, not even close, but it's palpable and it's not getting any smaller. So I have faith. We'll get to the bottom of you little green domed behemoth out there. Wow. Almost looks from this angle like this little 8-bit sort of looks like it was like 3D printed, or it looks like it's like a Minecraft building. But man, so many cool buildings in Rhode Island, man, for such a little place, little tiny little blip. It's got some real charm left, some real old world. My God. The Marble House on Newport. Indeed. Spare no expense. And and this is a stripped down, neutered version. No doubt this thing was probably glorious. We get these weird random things. You see these all over in America too. These sort of like emptied out sort of, basically they look like props at like Disneyland, but they're not. They're just remnants or leftovers from some building. And it just kind of became iconic and the world devoured everything around it. And there it is now, just sort of being in the middle of a roundabout. It's so crazy how time just passes by, and the things that we have, I'm grateful that they were so unconquerable, that in the end these monsters were too big to deal with and too tempting. Even in their depleted state, it looks like they were just dug out, new entrants, and moved right in all over the world. Who could blame them? And I'm just grateful that is the case, and that these clues that are everywhere, literally everywhere, looking as ridiculous as this memorial here to a mosque here. Looks like the mosque part is sort of cheaply attached, personally. I see what they're doing there, and I appreciate it, but it's not, it seems like it's definitely not original to the brick. What am I, super detective? Oh, man, this is just, looks like it's an immaculate condition. Kudos to who's been running that one. And this, this is just, it's got the same character, but you just know those aren't original. Something more to it than that. I stand by that. Yeah, that looks, totally normal. I don't know, man. What is going on? And I have yet to hear any good explanation for any of this. I really don't understand why it's so obvious that this building was constructed in at least 2 different eras. I don't know how it's not so obvious. I really don't. But these are time-honored homes here. Most of these are Newport, I'll add. Just kind of cruising through the residentials here. Looking at all these amazing homes with character and mystery here in Rhode Island. What a charming little place. I suppose if you've been there, you're tired of being told it's charming and quaint. But really, those are... Wow. That is just unbelievable. Whoa, my God. John Griswold house. After all this, don't try to distract us with this little wood thing, bro. Like, you got this back here, dude? Like your roof shingles? Man, what a place. And even this one has its own little mystery. We're not telling you. We're not telling you where these bricks came from. And every mill had to be 4 friggin' stories. This is a steam factory Aqueduct Mill building. 449. Well, there weren't that many buildings. You name it 449. We'll start with the 44s. And that way it sounds like there's more than there is, man. This is part of another mill complex here. And this is North Wing Abandoned. This is the Bannon Mill. Or the abandoned Barrington Cove Apartments. Depends on what century you're here. If you'd come here earlier, that yacht was a mill indeed. Oh yeah, there's that old man's face rock. Which, I see it, but that's a real cartoony old man. With that chin, it's like a Wallace and Gromit claymation creature. The old brick market. That's what I would have named it too. The old colony house. I like the way that they're all the old. I like that in Pennsylvania too. There's a lot of that. I often just use that as a way of making myself sound like I'm more familiar with the area than I am. Like, for example, you want to go down to the park? Oh, the old park, eh? Oh, the old market, the old bike trail. Oh, the old tavern. You see what I'm saying? Just sprinkle it in there, and it makes it seem like you're real familiar with it, even if you never have been, never gone there, not even one time, never. Look at this beautiful home. Looks like a slice at a time. Man, Rhode Island, y'all got some big spenders over there. I could tell. Look at that thing. How out of place is that? Pawtucket Church. That's what that was. This looks kind of like that, got that Bourbon Street vibe, that old Louisiana style, Georgian style, Victorian architecture, whatever, all those interchangeable names. It's all the same thing. Get caught up in all that Jabberwocky. Get caught up in all that Wowski. The old Bally Dyeing Company in Pawtucket. You've seen better days. We'll find no answers here. Best keep it moving. Pontiac Mills. Such industrious peoples were our forebears, and really, you really outdone yourself with that chimney art there. Man, do you guys do school mascots? Like for high school homes? Look at that. The Precious Blood Church, we're told. Look at that beauty. Golly. Don't that just look so much like a conductor or transistor of electricity? It just does. Looks just like it. Oh, look at this. This is cool. You know, it's like, why they gotta be so high? Well, when you're up here, it kind of makes sense. Like maybe they shared some connection. I don't know. But either way, this is funny. This looks like it should belong in like Cambodia. Somewhere over there. This here is a rectory. Our photographer was in a hurry, so we don't get a good look at it, which I objected to. But here we are. Prudence Island Light. This one looks like a football player with a face guard like bear. That sound effect didn't really match. Okay. What do we got here? In memory of blah, blah, blah. I knew it! You know, I don't know who this saint guy is, and I'm not trying to be blasphemous, I really don't know. But if I didn't know anything about anything, I would think, what's this weird man doing holding this strange man baby? That's just what I would think. No deeper than that. But beneath still waters, well, you know what they say, uncommon depth and all that. Hell, I don't know if it's true. You'd have to get to know me. Dude, the way they put that eyeball there, dude. Oh, wrong shape. Hold on, Billy, let me redo it. Dude, the way they put that eyeball right there, dude. How clever. The old renovated lighthouse in Saconnet. Come on, is that really the name of Saconnet? Dude, these jokes write themselves. This is the Rhodes Hall. Oh my God, look at that brutal, ugly, modern piece of versus this beautiful building. Yeah, we know. There's more to the story, whatever you are at Castle. But we know what you really are. We know you're beautiful, and that's enough. Oh yeah, this guy, this much maligned, in my eyes anyway, Richard Morris Hunt fellow. Wait, maybe I'm mixing him up with somebody else. I'll have to look into that before I allow this. But I didn't. Interesting, you know, just a little interesting. That's all. Richard Morris Hunt. Maybe that's not who I thought it was. Well, we'll find out, and then you'll never hear this part. It's the Rose Island Lighthouse, and Rose Cliff. This place just looks like it is a wedding. There, I said everything. The Rosedale Apartments, which I don't know if this is something repurposed. It certainly seems so, but they gave it this sort of like campy, flying saucer cafe look. That I really thought it was kind of cool, so I just put the picture in there anyway. Look, I'm not trying to advance a narrative either. I don't cherry pick stuff and ignore stuff that doesn't fit into the worldview. I look at all of it, and all of it tells me that chimney looks terrifyingly like, leaning? I don't know. I mean, I'm no architect, but do a little math here. Well, looks dangerous to me. More apartments or hotel that was once a former mill. I'm seeing a theme here, Rhode Island. I'm starting to pick up on a theme here. Wow, this is just a mill, huh? I think it was something before it was that. And then now it's not even a mill, but it's named after a mill. It's like, dude, it's like when your family's all mixed up, huh? St. Mary's on Broadway. I just had to come back to it. Look at that stunner. My God, what a monster. It's like, I don't think we're gonna have the ability to destroy that, sir, for a few more years. Well, hell, guess we'll just move in. But that beast looks like it's just growing out of the earth. It's so cool. And then here we have a much more whimsical St. Peter's by the Sea. But no doubt it's the same principle. I mean, you basically have four-pronged tower, the magnetron window, the black and white sky. You got what probably were formerly bay windows. Dude, it's all the same, bro. I'm freaking out right now, bro. Like, I'm freaking out right now, bro. This is St. Thomas Episcopal Church. Looking like a slice at a time. Present edifice. Man, they had such a way of speaking and writing. The present edifice, not this building. Well, the present edifice and the subsequent pond looks actually sadly dilapidated. Wow, this is the old Slatersville mill. You see what I did there? The old. Makes it seem like I knew about it, but I never heard of it. Old Slatersville. I mean, just Slatersville mill. And yeah, some California prospect is gonna show up, some carpetbagger, and just buy the whole damn block and fill it up with high-density housing, whatever they call it, and ruin your neighborhood. Don't you worry, it's coming. You, I'm speaking to you directly, lady. Outside of the seminary, this is the snow, well, obviously, at Brown. Yep, that's what it looks like. Just want to show you them chimneys, though, and look at that, how unnecessary. 1810, down here, riding your horse, and it's like, oh, like, we're in the presence of gods, it would appear. Sure looks like it to me. This is allegedly a quarry, a soapstone quarry. I don't know why it's just like this little tuft of rock, but whatever. Look how tall that is. Come on, man. Why you gotta have it this tall, Mr. St. Adalbert? Atwell's Avenue in Providence. But look at that freaking brickwork, man. My God, what a wonder. And that window's amazing. Oh, dude, look at that. That is so technically awesome. Although, well, look at that. When you get up closer, what the hell is that? Why does the edge look like that? What the hell's going on here? Is this a postcard? Dude, you can't believe anything, Holmes. I love these kind of windows. Can't remember. It's a funny name for them, though, okay? Trust me, it's funny. St. Charles Church Complex. Interesting stuff going on all over. As you've heard me say time after time again. Good God. Look at that medieval thing. What are we in Scotland? No, sir. Rhode Island. Wow. What even is going on there? Is that tile? Or like little wood pieces? Whoa, and that's the same building? So the whole thing's made up of that? That is fantastic. Oh, man. I'm doubly and triply impressed with whatever's going on over there. Are those just bricks? They're just bricks? Man, so many. Just beautiful. Just to St. Mary's in Newport. God, late. They just keep coming. The Church of the Immaculate Conception in Pawtucket. Does that look like it should belong in a place called Pawtucket? I just don't see it, man. So many cool buildings. No matter where you go, small state, big state, and all of them just kind of passed around. Now it's a church, now it's a mill, now it's a school chapel, now it's a Target. This one looks like it was remade. What is that stone? That's super cool. Slate, maybe? No, but it looks like the foundation's probably still old, so yeah. I mean, what am I saying? We ain't building stuff like that anymore. We just aren't doing it. Stonehouse Inn? That's an interesting look. A street scene in Newport where you can haggle over the price of a Budweiser. Temple of the Restoration. I think this is that one we saw poking out of the trees earlier. And I was aghast. Man, the breakers. We did cover that one extensively. And the elms, oh my God. Tell me you're not British royalty without telling me. You know what I'm saying? Look at how tiny these people are on the steps. Who needs this? Look at this. Way over here. What's she doing? She taking a picture of me? Hey, bleep off, lady. Wow. To think that you just can just call that home and be okay with yourself. I don't know. Special kind of weirdo. Soapworks. Maybe that's, I was gonna say maybe that's soapstone Corey was, but I think we're thinking two different things. Look at that old bit of tech up there still clinging on. How cool is that? And this is a mill ruins in Tillinghast. Said that right? It doesn't feel like it. I didn't say it with confidence if I did. Get yourself a little synagogue here, a little beautiful Trinity Church there. God, what a looker, dude. Is this not gorgeous stuff or what? People should feel proud. You know, they should feel proud when they see stuff like this and be like, we can do it. Even if we didn't or haven't yet, we can, right? Or at least maybe we could like figure out how to communicate with the ones who can and be like, yo, what's up, angels? Yo, you remember that stuff you built for me once before, homie? Can you come down here and help me with that again? Because we wrecked it. F you, God, we're gonna be shooting this can straight right up your face, dude. How dare you? How dare you? Warren, just a regular street with just some magical buildings. What? Nothing to see here, dude. Keep it moving, bud. The Warwick Neck Lighthouse. Looking rather blocked by trees or maybe that's the land side. You know, what do I know? I'm looking at the picture for 5 seconds, I'm critiquing it. You know, what a jerk. Town of Warwick? God, what a gorgeous building. And this is the City Hall, of course, Mr. Mayor. Gets your door like way up there, dude. Well, one day, dude, one day. Yeah, that looks like the ground has always been like that. It doesn't look like there was ever any sort of a rise in the surface. No. It doesn't look like that at all, I said sarcastically. Mysteries everywhere, dude. That bridge will lead you to somewhere where you don't want to be followed. But then someone one day will do it, and they'll find you in your place that you thought was private, and it'll suck, and you'll be upset, and you'll run further into the woods, and they'll chase you. And then something bad will happen. Or something vaguely cute and weird. I don't know, man. You do it, dude. You come up with a movie script right now, dude, about one gate. It's all I had to work with, bro. This is a sad state of affairs at Crompton Mills. Not that I have a deep connection to it or anything. And I realize how gorgeous these buildings are. Wow, man. Amazing, isn't it? It really is incredible. Now, there is a distinct flavor to these buildings that admittedly is not the same as some places, but the core elements, they look to be pretty identical. Octagonal towers, ye old milestones, or millstone, depends on what part of the country you're from. The old senior high school, set mysteriously into the road, and this is the YMCA of Woonsocket. Strange. Very cool building. It looks like a car in a junkyard. Or you know how it is when you see a car like they used to love and you see it rotting away somewhere, or one like it in a junkyard and you're just like, man, the windows are like taped on. There's obvious paint damage to the body. She's sagging. She's missing some of her antenna. She's missing some of her parts. She just looks like she's bent and broken. That looks like this building compared to probably what it used to look like. See that building? I look inside building. I found the beauty in you. I point it out. That's what I do. It's the kind of man I am. Well, I'm getting a little hoarse here. We're not done, Rhode Island. We'll be back soon.